And now, WolfBytes Open Mic.
The Bass Jackers.
Just came home actually from tour.
Hey guys, this is Phoenix Paul.
Hey, what's up? This is Sean Frank.
WolfBytes DJs and your favorite artists.
Sophie Francis. Sophie, thanks for joining us today.
Hi, it's super nice to join you guys.
What's up, guys? This is Armin van Buren.
Now, Open Mic.
Thanks for tuning in to this episode of WolfBytes Open Mic. It is DJ Flame here, and today we have another interview with a very familiar artist. We have Meduza here today, who is going to be talking about more about his new single that has been released, his tour that is coming up in here in the United States. How you doing today?
I'm really good. I'm currently in DC, so it's going great. It's a Halloween run is always one of my favorite because people just wanna have fun and party all around. So it's a great time to be here.
I understand. I bet you got like a lot of parties that you are DJing as well.
Yeah. I mean, it's not only today, it's just like a couple of weeks of parties. So it's but every time, I come back to US, and especially because I was missing since the beginning of the summer because of a Ibiza residency. I stayed in Europe for most of the time. So every time I come back to US, it's always great because I have a great relationship with a lot of people here. So it's every time good to party with them and to spend time with them too on at shows.
I got you. And it looks like you're here in the United States until late December. So basically you're here for the rest of the year. I know you got a tour that is starting here in Los Angeles and concluding in Denver, Colorado.
Yeah, correct. Gonna use November and December to go back to the studio a little bit, working on finalizing all the music we have for 2025. So at that time after Christmas, when we come back to US, I'll be ready to play new music to the fans.
Understand that. And we also love new music. And speaking of new music, we're gonna go ahead and touch the newest single that you have, Another World. Amazing here on WolfBytes Radio. So what is something that inspired you to lead into that new track?
So basically we always been fan of Hayla voice. She's so talented, she's great. But since when she was releasing stuff even before John Salmon, like with Dead Mouse, some more club stuff too on Tool Room dance label in the UK. So we decided to find the best time to work together on something new, and then so we had a session with some songwriters, and she was into, and then we ended up just like working on Another Word, and then been playing this demo for probably 3-4, probably more months, 6 months around the world, and adjusting every time things didn't work. But here we are with the final version and the release. So we're both pretty excited about releasing a song together, and we are pretty much happy about how it's going. So people is loving it. It's going great with the numbers. So every time I play this song in a show is that moment when I see people started singing and having fun. So it means it's a good moment, and fans are loving the song too.
I know we are loving it here a lot here on WolfBytes Radio, as is actually on our top 50 charts as well for this week. It is getting there, starting to pass Fire as well, which is also a fire song. I got a no pun intended right there. But both songs on our top 50, really amazing. And actually recently looked at the charts on Spotify, is exceeding over 6 million and counting with listeners, which is amazing. Now, when you created this song, was there like a special or more towards a certain audience that you were trying to make when creating this track?
So first thing, thank you for supporting every song that we release. We really appreciate that. And but talking about Fire was probably one of the hardest project that we've ever done since the beginning of the Medusa career, basically. Because when you have to write a song like Another Word, you just think about all the places where you have to play that song. So I don't mean like festivals, clubs, and then it can be a crossover over the radios and Spotify for the more mainstream and pop thing. But this happened in a second time when we write right that we need to be able to play the song in our shows, and that's the most important thing for us. But for Fire was different because they asked us to write an anthem for a soccer tournament, and we had to play that in a stadium. So the feeling was completely different because, you know, especially in that time, that they go into the stadium to see the game and not just paying attention to the music. So it's just like a soundtrack. It's something around the tournament. So it was kind of a bit difficult for us at the beginning to think about what they needed. But at the end, we ended up with Ryan just being in the studio and Leonie too, and then say, okay, we just make music and then adjust maybe the lyrics for the people to understand the feeling of the football, because the feeling of the passion, because people is there because of a passion of the football, and people comes to the festivals and club because of a passion for the music. So it's a kind of a similar thing, and then when you have to describe that in a song, it can be like compare like the two passion, because you do something you like and you love.
So basically, like the connection with enjoying music and the sport at the same time, just creating like a positive energy for both of the subjects of soccer and music.
Yeah, exactly. If you think about like in music, it creates you emotions. So, and then in soccer and every sport, it's the same thing. It works in the same way. It's just a different way of acting what you love. It's just if you love music, you just listen to it, or you just go to festival, concert, or clubs. If you love football, you just go to you play that, or you just go to see a game. But the connection and the feeling that this thing creates in you is the same. It's just like emotions.
Very much so. And do you think how emotions tied into music? Do you think you like more like a positive emotions? If you listen to Fire and you listen to the one that you have done recently, what do you think like is the main difference between Fire and the Another World?
So basically, in terms of emotion, Fire, it's more related to full audience. So it's just like, okay, we're all together and then we are on fire tonight. We need to build that moment and explode tonight. We all need to have fun and enjoy this moment all together.
Yeah, like more for like somewhere like for Fire, more upbeat and more like encouraging. Why would you consider like towards Another World more serious emotions? While one's
it's
like
more another word is more related to a kind of dance love song. Let me use this word to explain that. It's talking about a connection between two persons, and meanwhile, Fire, it's more like a group song. It's just like enjoying this moment all together.
So going back to touring, I heard that you mentioned a little bit of Escape Halloween 2024, correct?
Yep.
How's that? Or how would this be like a highlight, one of your highlights for 2024? Because I know you have many highlights.
Yeah, I mean the shows where we love playing new music to the audience and then test it out new music to see their reaction, because every time we play kind of a highlight shows, and as you said, we have more and during the year, it's always great to test it out new things, see the reaction of the people, and maybe try new radio things too, and see if the top lines is right, or if that kind of sound it can work in the future. So it's just like doing experiments, but also like keeping the same Medusa vibe. That for the people, it's really important, because when they have to see Medusa, they want to see and they want to hear new songs too, but they also just like need the classics.
Yeah, the classic vibe. Because I know because when people listen to like Medusa, what their signature sound, yours is like more of like a more signature sound and energy, but also you want to create a standout release to what is popular for the audience today. And I think what you're trying to think is like when you're creating music for these events, you just basically like throwing out what the audience would like for like 2025 and future Medusa events.
Yeah, it's basically we have to improve every time because otherwise you're gonna get stuck with the same sound and then it becomes boring for us in working on that too. So music is changing really fast, especially nowadays. So we need to take inspirations from what's coming. What are the new words? For example, now there are like two big words in dance music. There are like just like melodic techno and Afro house. So we need to take inspiration from these two words and see how can we evolve the sound of Medusa into a new way, adding new things in what we do. So it's just like evolving the side, the music side of the project, but keeping the same sound signature and the same style that we had from the beginning, because Medusa is still Medusa now, but the music we make now is it's not completely, but it's really different from what we have done like 5 years ago, for example.
Yeah, I know many artists, especially today. If you listen to someone's earlier artists like decades ago compared to today, you can obviously hear that how music is changing. How would you say how difficult it would be to create a more modern type of energy in your music, but also still keep that Medusa tone to it?
Sometimes it's really, I think it's all about the feelings you have when you create the music. Sometimes it's hard because there are like certain like moments when dance music industry it's more into an underground and straight line side, and then it's not that melodic, and the melody is really important for the music we make. And the Afro probably in the last like couple of years, melodic techno and Afro house have does a lot because they have really good melodies in songs. So this can help us too in looking at the future, looking in something for the future that can work for both radio side and underground side. And also when we started Medusa project, um, the basically, for example, Piece of Your Heart was working on the radio daytime playlist too, but it was working, the original version was working in the night too. Now, probably the market has changed, and if you make dance music, it's not working on radio, and if you work on radio music, it's not working anymore in the club. So it's a tough moment for the dance music industry, because even like, I don't know, Adam Port or You Girl are yeah, dance music, but more I'll say with the radio side, like a kind of R&B light dance, I will call it. It's hard to find a genre for that, but yeah, it's, I think the most important thing is that the fan at the end, they are happy and satisfied about what we're releasing. We need to be happy about what we are releasing and not just releasing songs because it's the trend of the moment. So it's going Afro, we need to release Afro music. It's going techno, we need to release techno music. It's just like making music we like and making music for the fans too that they can enjoy and think about, oh, I love this Medusa songs.
Yeah, I completely understand that. So we're gonna go ahead and throw it back to how you have progressed in 2024. And I just want to say, what were the main highlights that you have experienced so far in your music? Of course, we did touch about your couple of tracks as well. Was there any special highlights you like to bring up that helped motivate you create new tracks?
The process we had in the making of Fire was probably the highlight of the year, because it took a year to work on that song, not only because of the song itself, but also because it was for an event. So we had to adjust a few things for, I don't know, the TV spot, the radio spots, when the players get into the pitch, so they need an anthem. We had to do the orchestra version too. So this kind of process, it was unusual for us, and then it took a year to put everything basically together. So I would say that the creation of Fire and the final exhibition at the stadium before the final game has been the highlight of the year, definitely.
For your closeout of 2024, including with your tour, what would be your ideal closeout or your ideal event that would like to happen when you end your tour for 2024 and going more into 2025? What is something that you hope to see with your concerts?
Oh, definitely. It's just like playing maybe the next release and see that all the fans are loving it and all the fans are already singing it. So we can close the tour, being sure that this is gonna be the next song. This is what happened basically when we released Piece of Your Heart and Lose Control. We basically tested out both tracks in shows and saw the reaction of the people and decided at the end of the tour, okay, this is going to be the next release. And so I just wanted to have this as a final moment of the tour to think about, and just like, okay, I'm satisfied about this song. Fans are loving it too. Okay, let's release it.
Awesome. And do you think, I know you mentioned as you're on tour and you want to spend some time in the studio creating, do you think you're going to create some songs in between, do some teasers out during your performances as well?
Oh yeah, definitely. I mean, touring gives you a lot of inspirations, and also like testing out new tracks gives you the opportunity to experiment new sounds that you can use in your music. So it's definitely nowadays basically the laptop is our main studio time, because it's almost impossible to have a studio in every city in the world. So we need to work on the laptop and be sure everything is ready on tour and not just wait to be back in the studio maybe once, twice a year, because the market is really fast now. So we need to release music and have more music compared to, like, I don't know, 5, 6 years ago. Yeah, I think inspiration we get from the tour, it's essential, it's crucial for the music we make.
Yeah, and that actually lead into the next question I was going to say. As you're on tour, I know like you touched a little bit that most of all artists today has everything through their laptop. They use VST or virtual studio technology software to create their music. And while you're on tour, how hard is it for you to manage both performing but at the same time creating new Medusa tracks?
We trying to every time we are on tour and we play like 4 or 5 shows a week, we're trying to then get some couple of days off when we can just work on music, because otherwise just traveling, your jet lag and all the stuff like that, you're completely out of like concentration you need to make the music. So you need also like a day off to reset everything, and then other couple of days to work on the music. But also at the same time, you just like need to be faster in reworking what are you making, because let me explain that. Like, for example, we try a new song, we play that the same night, and we see what is working and what's not in the song. But then you don't want to wait for the time off to change all the things. So as soon as you go back to the hotel in the morning, you just change all the things and then replay the same song the day after in another show. So this is more of the process during the tour.
I gotcha. So you just basically know how the tour is or how your fans are responding and what you do to your tracks.
Yeah, it's basically on tour. It's just like that, the process, because it's really important. As I said, it's really important to see the reaction and to test it out in different venues, because maybe the reaction can be completely different if you play the same song in a festivals or in a club. So you need both views to do the changes.
Gotcha. And now when you're actually out on tour, is there any like specific like things that you do if you're not getting like the expected audience type during while you're out? Is there like anything that you do to help spark back their interest?
When we play our classics, it's just like for a resident to have the lifesaver, that song that if you play that, that everybody will sing or will dance. It happens that like to every DJ, that maybe you're playing in the wrong places, or you just the lineup is around you at the festival is not ideal. So for the first, I don't know, 15-20 minutes, people needs to get used to your sound, especially in festivals. When you play festivals, it's not just like built for you, but so people needs to get used to change every hour the sound. So when you do that, you try to do all the best that you have in the folder, and then just like starting with the classics or a re-edit of the classics, and then do experiment maybe more in the middle of a set where like people is more used to get that kind of sound, and then closing again with some other new songs or classic is a classic that you didn't play before.
I gotcha. And I know you did mention about how part of the environment you're performing is, and I know there are many different types of venues that you can perform, but is there like a specific type of venue that you prefer while you're performing that engages you and motivates you more?
If you ask me if I prefer festivals or clubs, I will say I definitely prefer clubs, because you have more like an intimate contact with the people. You can create more that kind of feeling and connection in between the crowd and the stage. Because festivals, you're really miles away from them, so it's and also like the numbers of the people in the crowd are enormous. For example, like when we play some festivals, there are like 60,000 people compared to the club, like you can have like 5-10,000 people. Because of that, I prefer the clubs, but the setup that you use when you prepare the sets for festivals and clubs is most of the time the same. You just get into the venue, see what kind of mood there is at that moment in the venue, or in what kind of country you are, because that can change the set too. And then you adjust playing tracks after tracks, and then see what kind of reaction the people has, and then you adjust your set. Always playing your music, but maybe with different edits. So, for example, I don't know, if you're a festival, you play a more like a techno version of Paradise, compare when you are playing in a club, you play just like a more house version, but you're still playing your music, but in a different way.
Yeah, so you just gotta basically alter, or just not alter, but like experiment with and see how the crowd is responding to your music, as well as how the environment is. Because I know you mentioned if you play at a club rather than a festival, there are obviously different types. So you just have to experiment and see what the crowd will be more into.
Yeah, we are DJs, and it's different. The fact that we see a lot of producers just like playing as a DJs, and they don't think about this is important. But I think as a DJ, this is crucial, because as a DJ, you need to create that connection. You need to create that vibe. You need to take people on a journey. So set cannot be the same every time, because people is changing, venue is changing, city are changing, and then countries are changing. So if you're a producer, I saw a lot of producers just playing the same set every time, and this is not us, because we love to be in DJs and act like a DJ while we perform, and adjust the set based on the venue we play, or the city, or the country we play. And that's, for me, it's the real DJing. It's like to understand the crowd and give them always Medusa things, but in a different way. You need to adapt your set based on what they need.
Would you describe that would be like your favorite subject in your career, like DJing? Is that your most favorite, or would it be more towards producing, if you want to?
For me personally, it's more the DJing. I grew up as a DJ, as a resident DJ in a local where I was when I grew up, basically. So for me, the main focus is the DJing, and works on the music, but more on the arrangement side. And ideas. Luca is more the one on the machines, the one the more the producer, and Simone is he's DJing too, because he grew up as a DJ too, but he's more the musicians of the group. So it's just like, for me personally, DJing is the main focus, is the first thing.
Gotcha. And what would you say, as you're DJing, we all make mistakes. What do you learn from your mistakes as you're performing and DJing?
It depends what was wrong. There's always something that goes wrong, and then you learn new things every day because music is changing really fast, so you need to adjust that based on what it's happening around you in the world. So you cannot always be perfect, and then you need to do wrong things to understand how the things are going. It's just like, okay, I did that wrong. Let me try to rework that or redo that in a different way and see how it works. And maybe I will do the same mistakes for 10 times, but then I will learn and find the right way to fix that and find the solution.
Because I know a lot of people, especially as the more and more you get into the music industry, many DJs and artists, they do make mistakes because it happens. We're all human, but they also learn from that, and that mistake also makes them really better. So it's really, I think that's also a great thing about musicians, is that they learn from their mistakes, and that can also help with their music in the future as well.
Every musician and every artist has his own personal experience. So we all react, because we are a different person, we all react in a different way to what is happening during the shows or while we're making music. So we can for sure use this when we talk to each other in between us producers and DJs. We can all talk about the sharing the experience, but we all live our moments in a different way. So we all react in a different way.
Yeah, I know most musicians are different ways, and they have different strengths, so that make them a great musician. So what do you think for yourself? What strengths do you think that make you a great musician?
I don't recognize myself as a great musician. I recognize myself as a good musician and a good DJ. But this is because of, you can see in numbers, like people is loving our music, people is coming to our shows. So if they buy the tickets and if they listen to our music, that's enough for us. It's just like the right recognition we need for our music. That it's up to them deciding if we are good or not DJs. But I think numbers can show this.
So we're going to go ahead and do towards the last topic, and we're going to go ahead and go a little bit to the future. If you think about it, once you finish your touring, once you're back home in your hometown, and you are taking a break from like doing music and stuff, what are your hobbies that is outside of music?
Football for sure. I'm a supporter of AC Milan, so every time I can, I just go to the stadium and follow the every game, and or just like chilling home with the family and stay there with my dog, walking with him, and then just spending some time with them and friends, like a really normal life.
And does it, I know, do you think it's really actually hard to balance like living your like normal life and balancing as well as being a musical artist?
As long as you remember that we are all normals, and then we are all have our personal life. So you need to understand how to switch your mindset, and then when you're home, you don't have to be worried about thinking too much what it's coming, what it's gonna be the next trend, what I'm gonna play in the next shows, what genre of music is gonna be the next one. You just have to take everything off from your mind, and then just think about the family, friends, and just having a time off. So this is the only way to relax yourself and not be too much stressed from the music, from the tour, and have a time off. And then turning on again when you're in the studio or you're on tour again, and just at that moment you need to think about your job and all these things. But I think it's really important when you're home, you need to stay with the family, not only with your body but even with your mind. You need to stay with them.
You consider that as like a little bit like a recharge your mind a little bit, take a break, focus on something else, and that could potentially lead you to motivate to do more with your work. And because you had your time with your family, and then you're like, okay, it's time to get back to work. Let's go ahead and get this done and go from there.
Yep, exactly like that.
Now, when you're out and about, I know you said when your musicians do their own personal lives, if you're out in public, how would you consider if you actually, I know there has to be a few chances that you meet a fan in public and you get like a little bit of like a little paparazzi scene. Has that ever happened to you before?
Let me say that I'm a DJ, but because I choose to do this job because of a love of the music, but if this wasn't my choice, I probably did never ended up like going to the club listening to some like I don't know other DJs and stuff. It's just not my thing. I do this because I love this kind of music, and DJing is my passion. But if I have to go somewhere else listening to somebody like playing or just having fun with friends in a club, that's probably not the best place to go there. That's why I rarely go to the club where I'm off on tour and just stay home with the family. It's just like a weird thing, honestly.
No, I totally understand that, and I know once this year ends, and after a time with family, there will be in the books of new music and new ideas and collaborations. Within the 2025 year, is there anything specific that you think you're going to release for us, like any track ideas or collaboration ideas that you would like to share, if you could?
We have a lot of ideas. There's one I cannot share, but we've been testing out a few times. So if somebody came to our shows since this summer, probably they heard that idea. But we're still working on that, so I just don't want to spoil that. But probably the highlight of next year is gonna be the creation of the hybrid live show. So it's not gonna be just me DJing, but it's all three of us on the stage with Luca playing on electronic instrument and pads, and Simone playing on the classic piano, and me DJing. So that's gonna be the hybrid show we're working on, and we're gonna launch that in Ibiza for the residency in Ibiza next summer. So definitely is gonna be the most exciting thing we are working on at the moment, and we're gonna work this for the next few months.
Yeah, and I know definitely a lot of WolfBytes DJs, including our listeners, are very much looking forward to your new music, because we have played quite a few tracks, not only the current ones, but we also do some flashback tracks as well from what you did years ago, such as Lose Control and Piece of Your Heart, which is really cool. So we're really excited, and we love seeing you grow as the years go by. As you were mentioning earlier, how throughout the years you have been changing your style a little bit, but also keeping the same Medusa style to your songs.
Thank you very much. I really, really appreciate that, and I'm really looking forward to send you new music to see what do you think.
Oh, we will. I'm pretty sure we will definitely love it. And is there anything that you would like to give our listeners or those who have the passion of becoming a DJ you would like to share?
Yeah, I mean, for what I can say from my experience, I just want to, if I have to give an advice to younger DJs or young producers, just like I know it's important to follow the trends, but it's different to just follow the trends and do copy and paste and just be the trend. And so take inspiration for what it's famous and what it's working around you, but keep it yours. Like you need to make it yours, and then you need to just take inspiration and add your personal things and your personal taste in it, and only this way you can do the different, because otherwise you can be like one of the 1,000 DJs or musicians that are trying to do something in this industry. And especially nowadays that everybody can work from his laptop, is really hard to find new talent around the world. So you need to make the difference, and you have to stay humble and keep believing in yourself. Even if people will say no, that doesn't mean that you're doing the wrong thing. And maybe it's the wrong thing for them, but if it's the right thing for you, you take the advice and you maybe use it to improve yourself and your music.
Awesome. I found that really amazing. And I know most of us here at WolfBytes Radio, we are becoming young DJs. And of course, since we're like a college level radio station, most of us is at these little parties and events too, which is amazing. And like you said, most of us, including me as experienced, we mainly just do everything as based on what the listeners would like to hear. And it's just, you just got to go with it. from my experience.
Yeah, I mean, sometimes you have to do that, but it's even like doing this, you can understand that is that you playing or is that the like the people is playing something for you. It's just like you need to take the DJing is basically you need to take people on a journey. It's not people taking you
Leading you
on
into the
their
journey.
journey.
I know most of them do like request, but at the same time, not just request. The DJ itself needs to, experience these new tracks and new creations to expose and lead their listeners into that new environment of new tracks.
Yeah, that's is basically the real DJing. Since the first DJ like in the past.
Yeah, it takes a lot of creativity, definitely. I guess you just gotta learn learn what best creativity you can create for the audience to enjoy.
Yeah, definitely, yeah.
All righty. Well, that is all the time we have for today, and thank you so much for joining me today.
Thank you for having me, and thank you again for your amazing support.
Of course, and good luck to your tours, and we'll definitely be keeping you updated. We follow you on social media, and we'll cannot wait to see all of the events and the highlights that you have with your tour coming up.
Thank you very much, and I'm pretty sure we'll see you around personally too.
Sounds good. We'll definitely keep that in mind. And everyone, thanks so much for tuning in. And if you love this episode of WolfBytes Open Mic, there are other ways you can listen to our previous podcasts, including with Lenny Armandhammer. All you have to do is go to wherever you get your podcasts and search WolfBytes Open Mic. That is WolfBytes with a Y, or you can find them at wolfbytes.ncsu.edu. It is DJ Flame, and until next time.